I need everyone watching this to understand what the archive part of archive of our own means. Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. I'm Cloudy, and recently I've been seeing something that has genuinely made me ask, are we as a society doomed? Okay, let me give you some context. So the other day I was on Tumblr, as one is, when I saw this. I genuinely didn't think that this was something common or a very popular sentiment until I went into the comments and everyone was talking about how they'd seen more and more people wish that AO3 had a like and dislike feature, or an algorithm of sorts. Yeah, you heard that right. People want archive of our own to have an algorithm. That's like walking into a library and being mad that books aren't being shoved down your throat. I was like, surely this isn't actually a thing, right? Well, I did a deep dive into the sea, and now I've come back up for air long enough to tell you about my trip. And oh boy, what a trip it was. I didn't save everything that I found, but I saw so many people on TikTok and Twitter, both of which I don't actually have, so I had to re-download them and then delete them again, but I saw so many people with the most brain-rotted takes. Now, I want to preface this by saying that everyone is allowed to have their own opinion. Having said that, some opinions are wrong. I'm kidding, but not really. Anyway, the most common complaint about AO3 that I saw was actually two things. One was that people wanted AO3 to have an algorithm, and the other was that AO3 should have a like and dislike button. Well, lucky for you, there is a like and dislike button. Kudos are the like button, and the dislike button is the handy dandy little icon on your screen called the back button. I cannot describe to you how irritating this is to hear. AO3 does not need a like and dislike system. Do you understand how detrimental that would be to fans? Imagine you're a writer. You've spent hours hunched over your book or computer, writing or typing away. You've poured your heart and soul into a story and created something that is a labor of love for you. Because you love the muse and you want to be an artist. You post your story that you've done for nothing more than just out of passion onto AO3. You're excited because you're sharing this work that you're proud of onto a site for others to enjoy for free. You check back a few hours later, joyful, only to see a dislike on your fanfiction that you wrote for free and that is free to read on a free platform. Most people would just quit at that point. I cannot stress enough how discouraging this idea would be to any writer or artist in general. Most new writers are very insecure and shy about their writing, and this would just completely shatter their confidence. People would just not bother posting anything at all. People wouldn't post multi-chapter works or works in progress or one-shots or anything, really. Say you're writing something for a fandom, and the main ship is a very hotly debated one. This would be a way for ships, pairings, ideas, AUs, etc. that people don't like to get dislike bombed. It would be another way of harassment. I'm gonna be real for a sec. I've been on the internet for a while. I was on it probably way earlier than I should have, but this rise of people thinking that they are owed content is so saddening. Fanfic writers and artists who make fan art, or people in fandom spaces who make or do things for free, do not owe you anything. They don't monetize their works. They don't owe you anything. I am also a writer. I've also published fics on AO3, and I've seen this rise myself. On top of people thinking that they're owed, having these people who think that they're not only entitled to content, but then also want to judge that content and make it so that the entire world revolves around them and what content they want to consume. It's genuinely such a consumer mindset where you need everything to be according to you. You want an algorithm on AO3 so that you can get fanfics catered to you without any work. And if you don't like it, you want to be able to dislike that work, because how dare something exist that you personally don't like? People are allowed to create and enjoy content that you do not agree with. I will repeat this. People are allowed to create and enjoy content that you do not like, because the world does not revolve around you. No one needs to cater to you. Has TikTok and social media rotted your brain so much that you can't handle looking through fanfics on AO3 and filtering through them so that you can find something? Do you really need a like and dislike counter to tell you what you should and shouldn't like? Because if you do, you need to look deep inside yourself and fix whatever it is that's twisted. Literally just choose not to interact with content that you don't like. It's that easy. AO3 doesn't have an algorithm, and it doesn't need to. And side note, because I know I'm gonna get this comment, you are allowed to criticize people and things on the internet, but there is a difference between criticism and hate. Additionally, there is a difference between fan-made content on the internet made for free by fellow fans and published books or novels, produced TV shows or movies, and monetized content on the internet and in general. Keep that in mind. I think it was this tweet really that started this all, and a couple TikTok comments as well. I just want to ask, are you okay mentally? If you think this way, you're actually just not a good person? Someone is writing something for free out of enjoyment and you want to hate on them? Like, screw the dislike button. Come out with your whole chest and say that in a comment, okay? Back in my day, not to sound old, but if you wanted to hate, you would leave a hate comment with your actual account so that people could name and shame you for it. Be open with your damn opinion if you think it's worth so much. If you hate it that much, come out and say it. I couldn't add all of the things I saw to this video, but these did really inspire me to go all through Tumblr, and it actually really reminded me of something. Wattpad readers loved to complain about AO3 and the filtering, and Wattpad got something of an algorithm, and it sucks. Like, most people agree, Wattpad sucks. AO3 has a much better system, and the reason that so many people use it is because it works. This is your disclaimer. If you can't figure out the AO3 filtering and tagging and navigation systems, just go online, and you will find someone talking about how to work it. I think this social media brain, where everything needs to be catered to you, and you want to only see things that have a lot of views or likes, has so greatly facilitated in the death of creativity and fandom. Fandoms are pretty much dead at this point. At least the way that we knew them as. The amount of times I see someone online talking about how a ship isn't canon and so therefore you can't ship it, or how this doesn't happen in canon so you can't do that, it makes me want to scream. Not to sound like that person, but the consequence of fandoms and fandom culture becoming mainstream means the absolute slaughter of anything and everything we used to associate or do in a fandom space. People complain about ships and non-canon ships. They complain about OOC, they complain about this never happened in canon, they complain about how the fandom is cringe, or how shipping is cringe, or how this is cringe, or this is weird. And those of us who have been here are just watching being like, huh? What? I'm gonna hold your hand while saying this, but fandom has, and always will be, cringe. It has, and always will be, weird or non-mainstream. You trying to TikTokify or like cookie cutter fandoms so that they aren't weird or cringe or whatever is insane. Shipping characters that aren't canon is the literal staple of fandom. One of the earliest instances of fanfiction on the internet is literally the slash ship between Kirk and Spock from Star Trek. It was written by someone who shipped them, even though in canon, they aren't together. Characters that have never interacted or have briefly interacted. You think it's weird people ship that? Honey, you haven't seen anything. You should have been on the internet in the days of the Tangled x Frozen x Rise of the Guardians x Brave x How to Train Your Dragon, the crossover ships. I mean, Jelsa, for God's sake, was so popular, and the two characters are from two completely different movies. Crossover shipping and shipping characters that have minimal interactions has always existed. People writing AUs have always done that, and most of the time, they don't have to make sense. And on the flip side, you're not the only person who likes that character. People are allowed to have different opinions on a character and are allowed to have different AUs with said character. Fandom is inherently weird, and for people to be so insane over people having different ships, like sending death threats over it, I'm gonna be harsh, but these people suck the fun out of fandom. We had a saying that was basically, don't like, don't read. It meant if you read something that you didn't love, or maybe you just saw something you didn't like, you would just leave it alone. Not go dislike it or hate it, just leave it be. Let the weirdos have fandom back. Let people be cringe. Let people write bad fanfictions or do bad cosplays or be cringy. Fandoms becoming mainstream is the death of fandoms. And I don't mean this in a, oh, I'm so special and quirky way. I mean this in a, fandom was meant for people on the outskirts of society, and now those people are being pushed out. Fandom, for a very long time, was a place for people not focused on in the mainstream. It's made up of queer/LGBTQIA+ people, BIPOC people, disabled people, neurodivergent people, women, etc. It was a way for creatives to express their creativity in a way that wasn't necessarily monetized, where they didn't have the pressure of answering to the corporation or society wanting them to do a certain thing. And now, that's all going away. I see more and more people complaining that fanfiction is too gay or too woke, and that people add way too much representation, and I'm like, where have you been? Fanfic has always been gay, y'all. Don't want to burst your bubble, but as I said earlier, fanfic as we know literally originated from a Spock x Kirk Star Trek fanfic. Fandom has always been gay. You can't change that. Anime fandoms. Love and Deep Space. Genshin. YA novels. Sorry guys, I'm like coming down with something. Also, technically, fanfic making people gay has always existed. Case in point, the Iliad. I'm joking. I'm joking. But am I? That's a whole other conversation. But my point is that people are allowed to make whatever content they want, and you're not entitled to that content. And you can't stop people from making content just because you don't like it. Super hot take. I know. I sound sarcastic, but this is apparently an actual hot take. This video makes no sense. God. This rant is going to be painful to edit. Anyway, the takeaway from this video should be, let people do what they want to do. Let people be cringy, even if you don't like it. The internet has always been cruel and mean, but it feels like in recent years, people are more and more okay with just straight up bullying for no reason. I think it's this lack of empathy that people have, where they feel the need to dogpile on something if they consider it cringy or problematic, even though 99% of the time, it isn't. Someone cosplaying a character that is a different race to them is not problematic. Cosplay is universal, and a POC can cosplay an anime character if they want. The characters they cosplay are also literally Japanese most of the time. They're not even white. So let people cosplay because it's not that deep. Same thing with cringy things. Like, I personally have a secondhand embarrassment / cringe thing. Like, I cringe really, really easily. Things make me cringe that probably the average person wouldn't find cringy. But you know what I do? I move on with my day. If I find something cringy, I leave it alone. Because obviously that's not content made for me. And it's obvious that I'm not gonna enjoy it. Literally everyone should be doing that. Unless something is literally illegal or like harmful to real people, live and let live. It's not meant for you, truly. You don't need to dislike a fanfic. Just click off. If you don't like a ship, just click off. If you don't like something, don't go on to someone who does this page or fanfic or video or whatever and be upset at them. The same thing with the opposite, by the way. If you see someone criticizing something you like on their own page or fanfiction, click off. That's clearly not meant for you. It really is not that difficult to be a decent human being. People are not obligated to make content for you. People are not obligated to make content for you for free, by the way, like fanfic or fan art. They aren't entitled to update their fics or entitled to cater their content to you because the world doesn't revolve around you. Let people enjoy things. Let them do things for themselves. If it's not harmful or hurting you, if you're not paying for it, or if the content isn't monetized, don't complain. Like, unless you have constructive criticism, just move on. And if it genuinely causes you distress and anger at seeing someone do something normal because they enjoy it or they want to, genuinely seek help. Like, I'm not even joking. If you get that riled up at free content online not being the way that you want it to or catered to you, talk to a therapist. That is not normal. Like, you're allowed to not like things and not enjoy things and talk about not enjoying those things. Emphasis on that. I'm not saying don't talk about the things that you don't like. But if you ever, like, wish harm or hurt on someone just because they make content you don't like, that's sick. Get well soon, babe. Anyway, that's the end of this video because if I continue, I fear it will melt into a mess. Very ranty, I know, but I'm passionate about this. Let me know what you think. We can have a wholesome normal conversation in the comments, okay? Share your thoughts. You are always welcome to do that. Just remember to be nice, kind, respectful. If you wouldn't talk to your grandma that way, don't say it in the comments. I'm kidding, but seriously, just be respectful. As always, remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Actually, news, I have a Ko-fi page now. So if you want to help me out, help the channel out, you can donate once or join my membership. For the membership, you get an extra video per month and early access to some videos and stuff. Obviously, no obligation or pressure whatsoever. I'm incredibly grateful for your guys' support and to anyone that has ever liked or commented or subscribed or watched my video. Truly, like, that is more than enough. I'm incredibly grateful for all the love and support I've gotten. But the Ko-fi link is in the description, so if you want to, you can donate. Or if you just want to check it out, I actually just generally post content up and updates and stuff there regularly. Like, I post art and other stuff. So if that's something that you're interested in, check it out. And in that same breath, I also now have an Instagram where I post, like, my art, I post poetry, philosophy, writing, stuff like that, all that jazz. So if that sounds up your alley, also check that out. Both of those things will be in the description box below. Alright, remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed, leave a comment, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!